Hello and welcome. This is Michelle from PaperStampInk. Thanks for stopping by my channel today, where you'll receive tips, techniques, and tutorials to inspire you in your own card making and paper craft projects. If that sounds like something that would benefit you, don't forget to hit that red subscribe button down below. Tap the bell, and that way you'll get notifications whenever I post new videos straight into your inbox. So let's go ahead and get started today. This is another one of my series on craft fair projects, and we are going to talk about these Hershey Nuggets. So this is a sample of one that I've already made up, so you have an idea where we're going. Let's go ahead and grab our paper, stamp, and ink. So for the paper, you are going to need 5 1x3" pieces of cardstock, and I've already done a lot of the prepping so we can speed through this project and you can get on your way to making your own. Don't forget our double-sided paper. Our designer series paper is double-sided, so you get 2 looks from the same sheet of paper. So I've taken 1 sheet and cut down. I like to do 3 of one color and 2 of another design, just to alternate the patterns on the project like I did here. I've also done where I've used 3 different patterns. You can, of course, make these longer, shorter, use what kind of bags you have on hand to create your own projects. This is a very easy item to duplicate and adjust. So the other thing you're going to need is a piece of cardstock. I'm using pumpkin pie, and this is 2 7/8 by 5 1/4. And then I have a couple of scraps, one of pumpkin pie that I've already die cut using our layered circle dies, and then I used a punch to punch out the circle for our sentiment that we're going to layer on there. For the stamp today, I am using our Takeout Treats stamp set, and I'm going to use the This Is For You stamp. But you can, of course, adjust these for whatever occasion that you have in mind. And I'm going to use Blackberry Bliss for the ink. Let me go grab that ink pad. Didn't have that out, so I'm going to grab the Blackberry Bliss. And the reason I picked the pumpkin pie and the Blackberry Bliss is on our designer series paper, it tells me what colors are going to coordinate with that. I love that about Stampin' Up! The other things that we're going to need are a bag. This is just a pretzel bag. It's 2 inches wide, and this one I have already cut off. It had a topper that had a zipper seal, which I didn't like, so I went ahead and trimmed this off. You can find the dimension that works best for you and your project. This one, I believe, is about 7.5 inches long by the time I cut that down, so it's probably an 8-inch bag to start with. And then let's not forget, we're going to need our Hershey's Nuggets. So I've got the toffee flavored ones here, and then we're also going to need a hole punch to punch into that sentiment, and I am using the linen thread. Here it is, the linen thread, to tie that sentiment onto our package. So let's go ahead and get started on assembling. I'm going to take the nuggets. I've already gone ahead and put Scor Tape on these. I found that for me that's the best adhesive choice. And when I adhere these, you'll notice this, they have this flap on the nuggets. You want to take and pull away from that flap so that you don't risk opening your nugget by mistake. That wouldn't be the worst tragedy, right? You might have to actually snack on that one. That's one of the hardest parts about this project overall, is not eating the materials that we are needing, the product, to complete it. But you know what, they never have an exact amount in those nugget bags, so darn, I just sometimes have to go ahead and finish it off. And I usually have a couple of oddballs out at the end that I look at my reward for putting these all together. So these are a pretty popular item at my craft fairs. They're great for stocking stuffers, you know, having those little gifts on hand when you just are maybe going to somebody's house and you want a small hostess gift, or a gift exchange comes up unexpectedly, teacher gifts. They're very economical gifts and very quick and easy to have on hand. And, you know, hey, if you don't end up using them, have yourself a little treat. I sell these at my craft fairs for $3 for the packages, and I usually sell out or very close to selling out, depending on how many I've created for the fair. So let's go ahead and do our stamping. And again, I'm going to use the Blackberry Bliss because I've got a rubber stamp. I don't need my stamp pad underneath. And this is for you. Love that font. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere that onto our circle that I cut out. My adhesive of choice is the Tombow Mono Multi glue. And I just like that it's very quick and easy, and it allows me to kind of shift things around there a little bit, so I always get a really good centered piece. So I'm going to set that aside for a moment, and let's go ahead and work on our bag and our background piece. So all we've got to do to this piece is we're just going to do a couple of score lines to fold those up. This should give us just a little channel to hold those in place, and I think it does dress it up a little bit more than simply sliding those nuggets into the bag. And so we're going to put a score line at the 1/4 inch. Now don't forget our Stampin' Up! Trimmer has a score blade and a cutting blade. So the cutting blade's the dark gray, the scoring's the light gray. Make sure you move that cutting blade all the way down so you don't use that by mistake. And I'm going to come in a 1/4 inch from the edge. Now if you're doing the 1/4 inch marks, that's the first line that you see after that cutting mat. So it's kind of hard to see that one if you don't know it's there. So I'm just going to flip that paper around, do another 1/4 inch. Now I'm not going to bring my bone folder in for this because I don't want this really super flat. I'm just going to, you know what? That's not going to work, is it? I forgot I did 2 7/8 instead of 1 7/8. So we're going to go ahead and fix that right here. So 1 7/8 is going to be a much better fit there. And again, score the 1/4 inch. There we go. I think that's going to work a little bit better for us. Sometimes I get ahead of myself in talking. So we're going to slide that right in there. And then I'm just going to slide these nuggets in, alternating. Oops, we've got 3 of this one, so I'm going to put that one first. Alternating the patterns until I have all 5 of them, and then I'm just going to slide that whole piece down into the bag. We're going to use our twine and circle that around, and I like to go ahead and tie a knot in this before I put on my sentiment. I just find it a little bit easier to hold everything together that way. There we go. And because I'm using that linen thread, I just need this little 1/16 punch. Feed the end of that through. So use whatever size hole punch you need based on your linen or your threads that you use. These are great to also go ahead and dress them up with a little bit more feminine or a little bit more masculine look. I think that this with the leaves will work for either option. So I like using some fairly generic paper. And this is from the Nature's Poem. I don't think I mentioned that at the beginning. So it's the Nature's Poem paper, which has a lot of great paper that's very non-seasonal. It's got a lot of uses, very diverse paper. So tie that little knot. I'm going to trim off. My pieces are a little long. Fluff this out at the top, and there we go. We've got our Hershey's Nugget gift ready to go or ready to take to your craft fair. I hope you enjoyed this video today. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like the craft fair series, so I know if that's something you'd like to see more of. And to hit that subscribe button down below. I will have the dimensions for the papers in the description below as well. I hope you tune in again, and you have a great day.